Okay, so today I got a new airbrush in the mail. This is a Master Airbrush. It's the model S622, and comes in a nice little case. This was, I think, $55 on Amazon. The case, these little things feel like they might break after a little while, but you get quite a bit in this little kit. This is nice foam padding. It's not a bad little box. The airbrush itself feels really well built. It's heavy. Sugar feels fine. It's got a stop on it, so I can stop where this goes. This is a siphon feed. It's a dual action, but it is a siphon feed. I like gravity fed ones better for the most part, but you can put these great big bottles in a siphon feed, and I thought it would be nice for priming a lot of lures. Or I also, living in Vermont, I don't go out a lot in the winter, so I have to find indoor hobbies, so I build models. And to prime a decent sized model, it would be nice to have something like this. You can also get much bigger. These are 20 cc's. You can get, 60, 80, 100 cc bottles. So I'll probably buy a couple of larger bottles too, if this thing works well. I used a siphon feed before. It was an inexpensive one, and it's made by Posh. As a matter of fact, it's right here. This has an external mix. This has an internal mix, so the paint is mixed inside the gun instead of outside. This has air blowing through here, and then this has the paint coming up through. It doesn't work quite as well. Also, it's a single action, which is just, I don't like them at all. So if you're new to air gunning, single action means when you push this down, air and paint comes out. Dual action, you can see this slides back and forth. So you push it down, just air comes out, and as you pull it back, you get paint. And the farther you pull it back, the more paint you get. So you've got some control over how much paint's coming out of this, which is really, really nice. Also, with the dual action, if you're spraying and then you stop, and then you go to spray again, a big glob of paint will come out because you haven't blown that paint out of the way yet. With this, when you're done painting, keep the air going. You can keep the air going with no paint, and then when you come back into paint again, you don't get that big glob of paint coming out. So that's very nice too. The airbrush feels really good. Has your little wrench to take it apart with. And one thing I was surprised, I didn't think this was going to come with it. This is a quick lock. Where are we here? Or quick disconnect, as they call it. And what that does, is I have them on my other brushes. Sort of more like a compressor in a shop. You can just change tools really quickly. Take that right off. Clip it back on. When you take it off, no air comes out. Very, very handy. Otherwise, you have to shut the air compressor off and unscrew this and then screw it back in when you're done cleaning your brush. So I was surprised it came with that. I was almost bummed because I actually bought a couple of the disconnect things, the part that goes on the brush and goes into this. I ordered a couple of those thinking I was going to need them. This has a mag valve on it. This little thing here turns to allow more or less air to get through it. I'll try it with this one just for the heck of it, but when I bought this one, it came with it, and I didn't like it at all. I needed it opened all the way all the time. So if I tried to open it up a lot, it would start to loosen up and eventually the air would blow it out. This thing would go flying across the room and I have to go look for it. Almost lost it a couple times. Air coming flying out of here and your air compressor kicks on, keeps running, and you gotta go shut your air compressor off. You gotta go find this thing. So I finally cut the pin off, Dremel that goes in here and shuts your air down. and then tighten this up just as tight as I could go. And it's worked great ever since, so maybe this one will be better. I don't know. The other thing that I really, really like about this brush, though, is it comes with 3 needles and nozzles. So my needles are in here. One of them's in the brush. My nozzles are in these little tiny things. And I have a 0.3, 0.5, and a 0.8. So what does that mean? Okay. So 0.3 is for fine detail. Not super fine, but pretty decent. You can usually get pretty decent stuff with a 3. A 5 allows more paint to come out, and you can paint larger things quicker. And an 8, I've never used anything that big. I'm curious if it does what I want it to do. It's going to be great for priming large things. Came with the air hose. It's a decent air hose. I have an Master Airbrush compressor, which came with a hose too, and I have used it. It's a good hose. It's kind of short. I'll have to measure it and see how long it is. I have another one that has a moisture trap built into it, and it's quite a bit longer. So I can't wait to see if this thing will spray paint halfway decent or not. Let's find out. Alright, let's see what this does. It covered it very, very well, very, very quickly. I think I'm happy. I would say that's a success. Now on to another color. Okay, so I'm going to take some Creatix Opaque Red and squirt it over one of those gray spoons I just did. Wow, that's perfect. I got nothing wrong with that. Great. This is with no primer. All right. I have not thinned this or the primer at all. So I'm going to try some other stuff here. Let's try a couple other different things. So now I'm going to use some transparent color here. This is Sunrise Yellow. As you can see, it looks very orange. But it comes out quite yellow. On your project. I would say that worked fine. This is a neat color, this transparent Sunrise Yellow by Creatix. If you put this on chrome, it'll look gold. Turn your chrome lure right into gold. Alright, time for the next color. Alright, I want to try my golden high flow acrylic. This is very, very, very runny, like water. This is fluorescent chartreuse. Let's see what happens with this. I ended up doing a few spoons with white primer and a few spoons with black primer. That's all the Vallejo stuff, so and it all worked out great. So let's see what this does. I love this color. It looks great on lures. Oh yeah, that looks great. That looks awesome. Alright, I'm going to try my pearlized copper over some black. See what that does. I'm going to turn the air pressure up just a little. I've got it pretty low for a siphon feed. That's better. I'm going to try it on a... I don't have a gray one anymore, do I? I have a white one. Oh yeah. That's much better. Doesn't push that out quite as well for some reason. Yeah. I think with the pearlized I am going to use my Wada Neon. That did not perform great. It wasn't horrible, but definitely did not push that as well as it pushed all the other paints. Let's see. That's the black one, this is the white one. I don't have great lighting down here, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, definitely did not like that paint as much. I mean, I didn't thin it at all, so I could thin it a little bit. That would probably work fine. Okay, so my last test is going to be a paint that is not an airbrush paint. It's very, very thick. It's a color shift paint. And I'm going to have to thin this, definitely. Probably about 50-50. Let's see if this performs. Alright, so I'm going to try this. I've got it at a 50-50 with water. Let's see what happens. I turned my air compressor down a minute ago for something else, so maybe I should turn that back up. Doesn't like that at all. Ew, it's all spotted and it's not coming out evenly. Might need to be thinned more. That ain't working very good. I'll put a little thinner that I've made in there. See if that helps. It doesn't want to spray well. Alright, can you see that bubbling? That is what my airbrush does now. It will not spray paint. It only bubbles. So, the last paint I used did not spray well, and I thought it might be the paint. But then when I was cleaning this, the water was coming out in spurts. It wasn't working very good. So I just thought it was dirty. I cleaned the gun, or the airbrush. I've cleaned it very, very, very well. And it's not blowing paint at all. So I have sprayed probably less than 20 minutes that I've actually been spraying paint with this, and it no longer works. So I looked it up. Sorry about my squeaky chair I'm in. I looked it up online, and I found that a lot of people are having the same problem with this brush. Some of them didn't work when they first got them. Some of them worked for maybe a couple of weeks tops. A lot of people said that within minutes they like sprayed for 15-20 minutes and it never worked again. So it's not because it's clogged with paint. Something broke in here or something. So I don't recommend this brush. Yeah, about 20 minutes of using this brush, it doesn't work anymore. Very, very disappointing because it was working great when it worked. It seems to be, it's heavy duty. And I liked everything about it. I liked the different needles. By the way, I used all 3 needles in this to make sure that nozzles and everything, make sure it wasn't one of those. But yeah, it's just not working. So this is going back, and I have ordered Iwata. I have one of their neons, and I really like it a lot, and it's gravity fed. So I got the exact same thing that's siphon feed. So when that comes in, I'll do a review of that. But yeah, pretty disappointed. You know, I like the case. I like the fact that it had all these needles, nice storage for them. Came with the quick disconnect. It seemed to be built well. It was working great, but it didn't work very long, so I might have just got a bad one. Don't know. But I did read a lot of reviews, and there were quite a few people that had that same problem, so I guess that's it. Thanks for watching. Hey, by the way, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment if you would like, and please subscribe to my channel. It helps me out a lot. And I'll see you again someday with the neon. Have a good day.